There we go. We're live. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday is a thing. Andy Pepper joining you to talk some football, some Lions, some WMU, some Michigan, some MSU, talk a little bit about our high school game of the week coming up in just 2 days on Friday, obviously, and talk about a little bit about the Tigers, who I think just scored another run in the seventh inning last night in Yankee Stadium. Big win for the Tigers. Welcome, everybody, and we're going to jump in. Hopefully, we wait for some folks to join us. Post your comments on the side or any questions, and until then, we'll jump right in. All right, so the Lions, highly anticipated season debut when you come off a NFC Championship game appearance in 2023. Franchise record 15-win regular season in 2024. We won't talk about the Commanders game. And you bring back so much talent. Obviously, everyone's super excited about the upcoming season. And then dud. I mean, they got manhandled. Let's be honest. They got beaten up badly by the Packers. To be fair, a very good Packers team with a defense that was top 10 in yards per game and points per game allowed last season, and obviously added Micah Parsons. This is a very good team. Detroit has had a lot of success against the Packers in the Dan Campbell era. They had won 3 straight in Lambeau Field, which is a big deal because most of you remember when they went, 25 straight games from like 1990 to 2014 without winning in Wisconsin. So they played really well. But this was a dud. There's no putting lipstick on that pig. Sonic and Knuckles, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery held to just 22 carries for 46 yards. You can do the math. That's like 2.1 yards per carry. Detroit didn't have defensively force any turnovers or have any sacks. In fact, they hit Jordan Love, the Green Bay quarterback, just a couple of times. Their only touchdown offensively came with under a minute to go. Obvious garbage time of a blowout game. Back to the rushing attack. Last season, they rushed for at least 100 yards in 16 of their 17 ball games. Held to 46 yards. Positive, the Lions' rush defense held Green Bay to just 78 yards on 25 carries. That's a big deal. Josh Jacobs was coming off a monster season, 1,500 yards, 15, 16 touchdowns last year. Huge season for Green Bay. But I think we all, I don't want to say saw this coming, that they get manhandled like that, but the offensive line, I think, have been glossed over by a lot of people. You lose Frank Ragnow, their all-pro center, who is just a huge leader for them. Absolutely loved in that clubhouse for his ability to play through pain. He had so many injuries. He had a crippling toe injury, which forced his early retirement. He was the linchpin of that line. That was a huge loss, and we knew that. Then they let Kevin Zeitler leave to go to the Titans, and you just can't pay anybody, or pay everybody, rather. The Lions are a bit a victim of their own drafting success because you just can't keep everybody. And they're very fortunate that the salary cap has exploded in each of the last 2 seasons, especially as the NFL starts bringing in streaming revenue. And it's jumped higher than expected in each of the last 2 years. So you got Tate Ratledge, the rookie, had a rough opener. Graham Glasgow, moving to center, had a rough opener, very poorly graded. Christian Mahogany, so-so, to go with the old stalwarts, Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker. Pro Football Focus does, as I lose my nerd notes, Pro Football Focus, they're maligned in some circles for their grading, but they grade every play in every game and every player. The Lions had a run blocking grade of 49.3. That's their lowest since 2022. And if you watch that game, there just wasn't any room to run whatsoever. Dan Campbell admitted, I think it was Monday in his Monday press conference, that he should have probably played his young linemen more in the preseason. No one wants to play any starters in the preseason, it seems like. And if you looked at the NFL as a whole in week 1, outside of that crazy Bills-Ravens game and maybe the Chargers to a degree, a lot of low scores. And I do think that it has a direct correlation to the fact that people are too afraid to play their starters in the preseason. And so you see that in that rust and that early season struggles of the defense ahead of the offense. Campbell also talked repeatedly about missed assignments. So yeah, there's the caliber of the offensive line isn't as good. You don't just replace a Ragnow or a Zeitler, but the missed assignments, they just didn't have any chance. I mean, we just saw Green Bay linemen in the backfield too many times on Sunday. He said he was happy with John Morton's play calling. He's obviously the first-year offensive coordinator, the former WMU Bronco. So this becomes a huge Week 2 home opener against the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson's Bears, who, by the way, imploded on Monday Night Football and had a double-digit lead against the Vikings and lost it. Former Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy, he looked pretty bad for 3 quarters, threw a pick 6. Fourth quarter, throws 2 touchdown passes, throws a 2-point conversion, and rushes for a 3rd score to lead the Vikings back to a win. So that is a huge game for the Lions. You don't even want to think about the prospect of starting this season 0-2, but a lot of work to be done for this squad, which obviously lost both coordinators. Let's switch gears, talk a little college football. Western opening up on Saturday against North Texas. The Mean Green, love the nickname, but suffering an overtime loss. Broncos really running the ball well, rushing for 216 yards. They had a 10-point lead at the break. They had a 10-point lead midway through the 3rd quarter, but the Mean Green outgaining Western 305 to 86, 305 yards to 86 yards in the final 2 quarters, roaring back, forcing overtime. Broncos had the ball first in the OT, kick a field goal. Western needed to force a stop to win that game. Instead, they're flagged for a pass interference and a taunting penalty. Put the ball at the 5-yard line. The Mean Green then punching in the game-winning score. So the Broncos start 0-2, obviously losing their season opener to MSU, and that hurts because up next they are headed to Champaign to face the 11th-ranked Illini. That's an evening game at 7 o'clock. You can watch that game on FS1. Michigan and MSU, both played on Saturday night. The Wolverines' disappointing 24-13 loss against then 18th-ranked Oklahoma. I think the Sooners jumped up to 13th. Not really as close as the 11-point final score would indicate. Justice Haynes did break off a 75-yard touchdown run, but the Wolverines averaged just 2.4 yards per carry, I think, with all their other totes the rest of the game. Bryce Underwood, just 133 yards passing. Michigan, just 288 yards of offense, and that's been the theme, right? Obviously, they lost a ridiculous amount of talent from the 2023 national championship team, but offensively, this has just not happened under Sharon Moore. Wolverines dropping from 15 to 23 in this week's AP poll. Going to try to rebound against Central Michigan back at the Big House on Saturday. Sharon Moore is going to begin that 2-game suspension for his role in the Connor Stallion sign-stealing scandal, where Moore wasn't forthright with investigators, deleted a long text chain, and not a lot of honesty there in that whole situation. As for MSU, better news there for Sparty, for the green and white. A double overtime win over Boston College. They had 2 Big Ten players of the week, offensively and defensively, for the first time since 2010. Quarterback Aiden Childs, outstanding game, 19-29, 4 touchdowns, wasn't intercepted, also rushed for 39 yards and a score. Linebacker Jordan Hall had 15 tackles. So great news for that Spartans program in year 2 of the Jonathan Smith era. Especially really great news for an MSU team that failed to score. Remember, an offensive point in the last 30 minutes of their win over Western. All they had was a safety. They were up 21-0 before winning. I think it was 23-7. So up next for MSU, they're going to return home against Youngstown State and should take care of the Penguins. And then next week, it is their Big Ten opener at USC. That is an 11 o'clock Eastern start for the Spartans, which no one's happy about. But hey, when the Big Ten expands to 240 teams across the country, Asia and South America, then that's what you're going to have, all in the name of money. We could have a long conversation about that. I'm old, and I remember when all the conferences stayed the same, and we didn't have this SEC and Big Ten take over the world stuff. Get off my lawn. It's my Clint Eastwood. What else do we got? the Tigers last night opened up a 3-game series with the New York Yankees in the Bronx. Hadn't been playing well, had lost 9 of their last 13, 2-2 game in the 7th, and then they went nuts. Sent their first 9 batters, I think, all reached base and scored in that inning. So they scored 9 times in the 7th inning on their way to a 12-2 win. I think it's the second time this season that they've scored 9 runs in an inning, which doesn't happen very often. The really good news that I'm really happy about, Casey Mize, 2018 first overall pick, had won just 9 games in his career before this season. Obviously, had the Tommy John surgery, missed almost all of the 2022 and 23 season. 24, came back, limited pitch counts, not a lot of appearances, but this year has really taken off. He's won 14 games, obviously a career high, and looked fantastic last night. Gave up an early home run to Aaron Judge, but it's Aaron Judge, his 44th home run of the season. But pitched well, gets the W, and Tigers going down the stretch here. Look, 8.5 game lead in the Central. They're going to win the division, but they want to earn that bye and be one of the top 2 teams in the American League. So a lot to play for still. Wanted to mention a note I saw in the game notes from the Tigers about Riley Green, who's obviously having just a monster season. Now with 30 doubles, 32 homers, and 102 RBI, he's just the 3rd left-handed hitter in the 125-year history of the Tigers franchise to reach those milestones. And if you can guess the other 2, then you are a true super fan. I did guess one, should have remembered the other, but it was before my time here in Michigan. Prince Fielder and Bobby Higginson had that big year. I think it was 2000 or something. So just 3 left-handed hitters have accomplished that feat, and pretty impressive for Riley Green. He's just been absolutely outstanding. How long have we been jabbering? 12 minutes? All right, so high school football. We are Friday. We're going to have the week 3 of the high school football season. It's actually last week felt like football. It was cold. Everyone's wearing coats and sweatshirts and everything, and it felt like it was week 6. Temperature's going to jump for Friday. We are going to be live in Marcellus starting at 5 o'clock with our game of the week. Our coverage as the Wildcats take on the undefeated Gobles Tigers. Nate Brown will be live in Marcellus from 5 to 6:30. And then, of course, later that evening on the big show, week 3 of Football Fever. What else do we want to talk about? Hoping we get some comments here in the section. And I just want to say as well that we're going to start doing these again on Wednesday. I know folks don't know when to tune in. We were doing them regularly for a bit, early in the spring up until summer. Then my summer schedule changed, so I stopped coming in and doing them every Wednesday. But we're going to be in here every Wednesday during the fall, probably mostly talking football, hopefully about a lengthy Tigers postseason. And then as we transition, obviously, to basketball/hockey season with the Pistons and the Red Wings. Fantasy football. You want to talk fantasy football? I'm your Huckleberry, total geek, total nerd, year 34 of the Haven League. So if you ever want to chat about that, talk online on the Bird app, the Tweeter, X, if you will. A Pepper WWMT is where we can chat. WWMT Andy Pepper Facebook page. Any questions about anything we do, any coverage? Why'd you cover this? Why didn't you cover this? Why did you cover that? We'll explain it to you. We got 2 guys, and we do the best we can covering as much as we can. Excited about Friday night. Love this time of the year. You can always watch our football show online if you miss it. We also have online our Lions preseason special that we taped in the middle of last week and aired on Sunday morning. What else do we have? I feel like I'm missing something. I'm not that bright. I can't think. I have all my nerd notes, but I think I left one of my sheets downstairs. I know I wanted to chat about something else, but I'll figure it out. Really looking forward to see how the Lions rebound, bring this full circle against the Chicago Bears. I mean, the Ben Johnson angle is certainly fascinating. Outstanding offensive coordinator. But now this has turned into an unexpected must-win game for Detroit. And we're going to see quickly, I think, what this team is made of. If it's going to struggle for a while. Everything the Lions do really is predicated on that offensive line, their ability to control the line of scrimmage, to dominate the time of possession, to set up the play action passing with that mashing ground game. So we're going to see. So I'm very eager to watch that game on Sunday. By the way, Nate Brown will be going to Ford Field, and we'll have a post-game report that evening on News Channel 3. I am going to wrap this up. We've been jabbing for about 15 minutes. I'll try to announce a time from now on every week, because normally when we were doing this regularly, we'd have 10 or 12 folks pop on and make some comments or ask some questions. So we'll try to get in a regular routine of doing this early afternoons, probably on Wednesdays. And then afterwards, I usually run out to one of our Game of the Week schools to get our content for the show on Friday. So football season's back. Very excited about that. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and hit me up on social media. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.